El Nino, El Nino, why were you late? Making up for lost time will not be great. We've got a lot of weather to talk about over the next 5 to 7 days across Texas, from severe thunderstorm potential tonight in eastern North Texas and northeast Texas to a high impact, relatively unpleasant cold air outbreak that will be arriving this weekend through next week, and the potential now for winter weather, sleet, freezing rain, and snow. Let's talk about it in this Thursday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. It is Thursday, the 11th of January, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers and Texas Weather Center's Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. We've got a lot of weather to talk about over the next few days, and I know many of you are probably watching this to figure out just how cold it's going to get, and is there going to be ice and snow? Well, let's make that answer pretty easy. It is going to get very cold. And yeah, there may be some ice and snow, but we also need to deal with some weather beforehand, and that is the threat for severe weather. Tonight into early Friday morning, a completely nocturnal overnight, early morning severe weather threat may develop across North Texas, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, Northeast Texas, and the Ark-La-Tex. This does include the potential for the strongest storms to produce damaging straight-line winds over 60 miles per hour, hail quarter to golf ball size in the most intense storms, and the potential on the low side, but there, for tornadoes late tonight, but very early Friday morning, more likely in northeast Texas. And again, this will be a completely nocturnal event well after dark. Storms probably won't even get going until 10-11 p.m. and then march east until they exit the state. Let's take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model. This is going to show us that progression. And again, you'll see this model does not develop storms until midnight along I-35 in north central Texas, and flies them east through eastern Texoma, eastern North Texas, the Ark-La-Tex, northeast Texas, East Texas, extending perhaps southward into the eastern Brazos Valley. Now, as long as these storms can remain in a line, not out by themselves, the main issue here should be damaging winds, hail, with a threat for spin-up tornadoes. If we get any thunderstorms that become supercellular, try to separate themselves from the squall line, or we deal with a mixed bag here where we have more individual supercellular storm characteristics in the line itself, or storms that go up east or ahead of the main line, the threat for tornadoes will increase early Friday morning. And again, this will be a completely overnight, early morning event. Storms are probably going to be out of Texas before sunrise tomorrow, and they're not even going to develop until probably 10-11 p.m. tonight. This is not a guarantee we're going to be dealing with severe thunderstorms, but there is a possibility that we will have tornado warnings late tonight in northeast Texas, so folks need to pay attention. Have ways to receive weather warnings while you're asleep. You can do that with the wireless emergency alert feature on your cell phone. Make sure those are turned on. That thing will wake half the cemetery when it goes off. Weather radios, of course, and as always, check for updated forecast later today through the evening hours. And again, this will not begin until 10-11 p.m., maybe midnight, and continue through 5-6 a.m. before exiting Texas and Louisiana. So don't come to me at 5 p.m. and be like, what storms? Because clearly that means you didn't watch the video. We also note the potential for snow showers tonight, this evening, in the Panhandle, West Texas, with a strong cold front moving south. Could have a quick half-inch accumulation in spots. Strong northwest west winds up to 55 miles an hour would result in blowing snow. This will not be a high impact, widespread accumulating snow event in the sense of several inches of snow for the Panhandle of West Texas, but it's probably going to be blowing around a bit. You can see this model does try to result in some enhanced snowfall bands after the snow exits the Panhandle into central Oklahoma. All right, and with that being said, precipitation chances end in Texas probably by 6-7 a.m. tomorrow morning, and thus the threat for severe thunderstorms. Behind that, we're going to have Crashy the cold front, cooler temperatures, colder temperatures, but not the main show. That does not arrive until Saturday. What we will see Another round of very strong winds behind that cold front. They'll be out of the west-northwest at 40, 50, maybe even 60 miles per hour in spots. The highest potential for wind gusts over 60 miles per hour today and tonight will be far west Texas, the borderland, El Paso, Trans-Pecos, Guadalupe Mountains, Davis Mountains, both high and low elevations east into the Permian Basin, Concho Valley. As that front moves east tonight into Friday morning, wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour, maybe higher in spots, just like the other night. As it moves east across the entire state, we'll have gusty southeast winds this afternoon and this evening ahead of that cold front. All right, let's get into the big show here, and this is what most of you are wanting to know. When is the Arctic cold front going to arrive? Well, it's trending faster. Using the North American model, which handles these frontal progressions in the wintertime fairly well, here you go. In case you're wondering, reds, yellows, oranges, that's your warmer air mass. That blue, that's the freezing line, 32-degree isotherm Fahrenheit, and it only gets colder from there as you get into the purples. That's in the teens and single digits. You can see by Sunday morning at 9 a.m. the freezing line into deep south Texas, just northwest of the Houston metro, southeast Texas. The front moving through the northern half of Texas by probably dinner time Saturday, continuing to move south with a vengeance Saturday night into Sunday morning. So again, this is a faster progression than we've talked about the last few days, but not a overly surprising one. We'll have gusty north winds up to 50 miles an hour with this, and the wind chills are going to be abhorrent as a Arctic air mass settles into the state over several days. Sunday, Monday, starting to warm up Tuesday, and then Wednesday we'll see a more pronounced warm-up. Temperatures, well, let's just talk about it. Here are forecast low temperatures Monday morning. Temperatures across Texas, as that cold front arrives Saturday night into Sunday, will fall below freezing most likely, and in all likelihood, they won't rise above freezing across the northern half of Texas, at least until Tuesday. Forecast low temperatures Monday morning. Below zero in the Texas Panhandle, near or below zero in West Texas, single digits, 0 to 5 degrees, Northwest Texas, the Big Country, Texoma, into Northeast Texas, the DFW Metroplex, 6 to 10 degrees, the potential for that to trend colder, 15 in about 15 in Austin, 20 in San Antonio, 26 in Houston, about 32 in Corpus Christi right now. This would keep the Rio Grande Valley above freezing Monday morning before freeze arrives Tuesday morning. Wind chill values will be 10 to 20 degrees below these temperatures. Thus, Dalhart, Texas, your low of -5 Monday morning, a wind chill 25 below zero. DFW, lows around 6 to 10, wind chills to 10 below zero. Texarkana 13, wind chills 10 to 20 below zero. It is going to be a very cold morning across the state Monday morning. Temperatures on Monday, these are high temperatures, unlikely to get above the 20s or freezing across the northern half of Texas on Monday. That means if you live north of a line from, let's just say, Pecos to Austin to Bryan College Station to, let's just say at this point, Lufkin, you are unlikely to get above freezing Monday, thus resulting in a multi-day span of sub-freezing temperatures. As we get into Tuesday morning, forecast low temperatures, single digits to low teens across the northern half of Texas. We'll see teens in San Antonio, Houston, Corpus Christi, 23 to 24, McAllen, 30 to 29, Brownsville, South Padre Island, right at freezing, 32 degrees, 28 in El Paso. The entire state of Texas will be below freezing Tuesday night, and the northern two-thirds of Texas will experience what we classify as a hard freeze, something quite cold enough to freeze pipes. Given the fact several regions will remain below freezing for 2 to 3 days, the potential exists for some infrastructure issues, frozen pipes, stuff of that nature. Now, this would be a good time to wrap those pipes up. Exterior pipes that are in exterior walls, stuff like that. Keep a close eye on them. Plan to drip your faucets. You know, all the cold weather tips. We dealt with this a few years ago in terms of very cold weather. And we're going to be doing it again in terms of cold weather. Now, I've been talking about how this is in 2021 for days now. it still is not February 2021. Yes, it is going to be quite cold. Definitely one of these events we don't see every winter. It's somewhat unusual. We're doing it so early in January. It seems like February is our magical, crazy, crashy, the cold front month, but we're doing it early this year. Mother Nature doesn't care. We will not have a winter storm encompass the entire state, putting snow and ice on the ground in all 254 counties of Texas. We will not stay below freezing for a week. We will get above freezing as we get into Wednesday. Here's Tuesday's high temperatures. In fact, here you can see temperatures get above freezing. Upper 30s, 40s, even some 50s across 80 to 85% of Texas Tuesday afternoon. The only folks who stay below freezing in this scenario, the far northern Texas Panhandle, northeast Texas, the Ark-La-Tex. It's entirely possible we trend a little colder in parts of North Texas state below freezing, but it's going to be close Tuesday afternoon. The rest of the state above freezing. As we get back into Wednesday morning, back below freezing. Teens, 20s, low to mid 30s. Staying above freezing in the Rio Grande Valley, the immediate lower Texas coast. The rest of the state below freezing. So as we start to go through this thaw refreeze cycle, we're going to have to watch for pipes. You're going to have to watch for bursting pipes and, stuff like that. And then as we get into Wednesday afternoon, a more pronounced warm-up occurs. 60s return to the Rio Grande Valley, far west Texas, the Trans-Pecos, Guadalupe, Davis Mounds, highs in the low to mid-60s. We'll see 50s across the southwestern two-thirds of Texas, highs in the 40s. The Texas Panhandle, North Texas, the Ark-La-Tex, and East Texas, but well above freezing. So, we go below freezing Saturday night, Sunday, stay below freezing until Tuesday afternoon for most of Texas, get above freezing Tuesday afternoon, back below freezing Tuesday night, and then way above freezing Wednesday afternoon. That's how this is different than 2021. For most of us, 2021 peaked about 20 to 25 degrees colder in the temperature department than we will with this event. But it's still going to be very cold. We're probably going to have some issues with that. Pipes, all that. And I think everyone, myself included, will be keeping a very close eye on the power grid. This is going to be a test for it. Hopefully we can deal with this without any issues, but time will tell. All right, let's talk about the potential for winter weather precipitation. Now, the cold weather, the gusty winds, that's going to be the main story here. I don't want to deter from that or detract from that with this. However, there is a low to medium chance we'll have an upper-level storm system move overhead Sunday night and Monday across at least some regions of Texas, with temperatures below freezing and in some cases way below freezing. Anything that falls will stick, will freeze, cause problems. At this point, we could see some light snow in the Texas Panhandle. We could see light sleet, light snow, maybe light freezing rain, Texoma, the Ark-La-Tex. South of that, anything that falls at this point based on forecast weather model thermos or temperatures would likely be either freezing rain or sleet. Even light amounts could cause issues, given the fact we're going to be way below freezing. North Texas, Central Texas, the Hill Country, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, Northeast Texas. At least a low chance for some light winter precipitation Sunday night and Monday. We're talking about something several days away. So, unlike the cold weather, which we have high confidence of, this is something where confidence is much lower, and the forecast will change. At this point, we'll still bring it up, though, just in case we have some issues with this, because anything that falls will likely cause travel disruptions. For what it's worth, given the very cold temperatures, even if some roadways are warmer comparatively, say we have a little bit of sleet, snow, freezing rain that falls on roads that are a bit warmer, it melts into a liquid. While the air temperatures are going to be so cold, we'll be able to do something called a flash freeze, where all that simply just ices over almost instantaneously. Typically, you need to be in the teens, mid-20s or below for that. Well, that's what's going to happen here. So that's something we'll have to be mindful of, that even with light winter precipitation, like freezing rain, light sleet, we could see comparatively worse impacts due to the very cold temperatures. It's not something we deal with exceptionally often here on our borderline temperature events where it's like 30, 31, 32. But when we're this cold, things that fall will freeze. We're going to have to watch for that, and we will watch for it. But again, I want to emphasize the main issue here will be ice, or excuse me, not ice. I mean, yeah, there's going to be ice. It's going to be cold. Will be the cold and the wind, several days below freezing. So even if we have some winter weather mischief, the cold is going to be the main story here. And with that being said, I'm going to keep my promise to you. We're not going to hype all this up just to get views or clicks. We're not going to push some sort of a, oh, we're all going to die situation. We're not going to push any sort of spooky winter storm situation unless it warrants it. Yes, there is weather model showing some winter weather mischief, but we're still talking about event 96 to 120 plus hours away. In winter weather forecastingville in Texas, that's like talking about something weeks away. We're not the northern United States where we can forecast this stuff a little more accurately with time because it's not always cold here. In this case, the track of an upper level storm system will dictate who gets any sort of winter mischief. Regardless, it will be cold. It's going to be windy. It is not going to be pleasant. Those that may not have access to heat, this will be a life-threatening event. So please check on your neighbors. Check on your folks. Those who may not have a source of heat or shelter, we need to get them to that, or else we're going to have problems. In terms of travel, well, if we deal with winter weather, that's going to be a problem. We'll keep an eye on that as we get closer in time, but it is going to get cold. We will warm up beginning Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll warm up even more. And then indications are we may see another significant cold air intrusion late next week. In about a week's time, that could bring another bout of chilly air to the state, and for that matter, the eastern two-thirds of the continental United States. So that is going to be it for your Texas Weather Roundup. As always, we appreciate you for tuning in. We'll keep these updates coming, and you have my word. We're not going to try to hype this up or make it sound worse than it could be. If it gets to the point to where it looks like it's going to be bad, we're going to tell you it's going to be bad. But again, this is not 2021. As always, you can get your local weather forecast, interactive weather radar, daily Texas weather roundups, and special weather updates, along with live severe weather coverage like we may be doing tonight, in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app, available on the Apple app, Google, Android stores. You can visit us on the web, texasstormchasers.com. We have a radar, texasstormchasers.com/radar. And as always, feel free to follow us on the social media platforms we participate on. We'll keep an eye on things, and remember, get ready for the cold. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy and Chief David Reimer. God bless.